Hi everyone, welcome. It's Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, so it's time for Stamping with Denise. I am so glad that you're here tonight. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. The weather's been much more tolerable here in Michigan, not quite so hot. If you've never joined us before, welcome. Please, if you like my video, please share my video, comment shared down below, and you will be entered in a drawing to win the project I'm working on tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Once you do that, click that little blue bell and you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video, which is usually on Monday evening. Okay, so last week when we were together, I showed you how to use some of your 1-inch scraps of designer series paper to make these cards. And because she shared my video, commented, shared, and her name was drawn, one of these cards is going to go out to Karen Thomas. Karen, thank you so much for doing that, and congratulations. I'll get that card out to you shortly. Stampin' Up! Has a... Oh, before we do that, please, if you can't share my video, I understand that. Could you give me a heart? Facebook likes the hearts better than the thumbs up. So if you could do that, that would be much appreciated. It just helps my video be seen by more people. So, okay, back to that. Stampin' Up! Has a sale that is starting tomorrow the 5th, and I believe it runs till the end of the month. And it's on it's a sale on in-color products. I'm not clear. I mean, it's obvious that the ribbon, the cardstock, the ink, the refills, those things are included. What I'm not sure is which designer series papers might be included, things like that. So we'll have to wait for sure till tomorrow, but please, if that's something you're interested, please check out the Stampin' Up! Website tomorrow and to see exactly what's in that sale. But it is a, oh shoot, I don't have my notes with me. Hold on, let me look here. It's 15% off, so that's good. That's a nice little percentage off. So with that being said, I'm going to change the view down to my hands, and we're going to work on tonight's project. Okay, just a second here. Okay, so tonight I thought I would show you some ways to make your own background paper, designer series paper, using your Stampin' Spots. If you're not familiar with Stampin' Spots, this is what they look like. They're little tiny ink pads, okay? These are felt, and you can get these. You can get them in paper pumpkins. You can get them in our kits. You can also buy empty ones and ink them up yourself. So this one is Pool Party. So this is what I've done on the back of mine, because I store them upside down so that the ink is at the, on the top surface of the ink pad when I'm ready to use it. But that one says Night of Navy. This one says Pool Party. Again, I've got a Balmy Blue and a Coastal Cabana. This either came from a kit or a paper pumpkin, and this was one that I made. So these are the colors. These blues are the ones we're going to use tonight, but I thought I'd show you this. And then the stamp set I'm using is the Layered Thoughts. And the die I'm using is the Textured Notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's the very center one. It's 4 from either the top or the bottom because it fits that sentiment stamp just perfectly, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about this. Okay, other than the color scheme and the sentiment and the different colored on the embellishments, do you notice anything different between these two cards? Do you notice it? This one, I've used a fine tip black pen to do some highlighting on the letters on the sentiment. So the card we're working on tonight, the one I did, I highlighted with black. I'm going to make one. The one I make is not going to have those lines. And we'll see which one everybody likes better. So I'm going to set these off to the side. And this is the one we're going to make tonight. See here, I've taken a thin black marker. I guess Stampin' Up! Has a journaling pen. I don't know that for sure. I think so. And I thought I had one, but I sure as heck can't find it. So what I did was I just went to my desk and found a really fine black tip pen. Or fine point black pen marker. It's probably gel ink, but it works. So we're going to work on this card. And I'm going to show you how to use these Stampin' spots. Super cool. You definitely want a piece of paper down first. Let's see. I have a piece. This is a piece of basic white cardstock. This is 5 by 3 3/4, okay? And I want to get these in order. Again, I'm using, this is Night of Navy. This one's Balmy Blue, Pool Party, Coastal, Cabana. I think that this is a perfect way if you don't have say you need to make a masculine card. I mean, I think this is a perfect masculine background. You can make a masculine card with this. Again, these are more pinks. This could be more feminine. This one, these ink colors. Well, let me tell you what colors I used here. This one is Petal Pink, Flirty Flamingo, Calypso Coral, and Cajun Craze. And you notice this one's not perfect. That ink was a little bit drier, but that's okay. It gives it a little texture. This one here, I chose from the brights. So instead of staying with a color theme, I went with a color family. So this one I've got Granny Apple Green, Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, and Melon Mambo. Okay, and actually before we get started, I think I'm going to flip over and I'm going to show you what you can get from Stampin' Up. Okay, so first of all, Stampin' Up has these uninked Stampin' spots. You get 5 of them for $10, and then you whatever ink refill. You use the ink refill for whatever color you want to make that ink spot. Okay, that's what I did with these two. Okay, be sure you label them so that you know. And you know what? The reason I labeled on the bottom rather than the top is because the tops could get mixed up, but the bottom is always going to stay the bottom. And I know it's not going to get mixed up. Okay, let me show you over here. Stampin' Up also has 2 sets of classic Stampin' spots. Here's a small assortment. There's 5 of those. Those are $19. They include Real Red, Petal Pink, Garden Green, Cloud Cover, and Early Espresso. So, right there. And I think it's this now. Remember, Stampin' Up had issues with the Cloud Cover ink on the big foam pads, but remember I said these are felt. And so the ink works really well. So if you would really love to have a Cloud Cover ink pad, this is the way to do it. Get a Stampin' spot. Either buy this set and get the refill, or buy some uninked ones and ink up your own. Here's a Stampin' spot small assortment number 2. This includes Melon Mambo, Darling Duckling, Granny Apple Green, Fresh Freesia, Basic Gray. You know, I just thought we're going to have to look at the sale. Remember I told you the 15% off sale on all the ink colors? Both of these sets have an ink color in them. This one has Darling Duckling. So this might be a good way to get these at a bit of a discount. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that those were available. They're not in the catalog, but they are on the website, okay? So there we go. Okay, let's get busy now. Let's get some creating. I'm going to start here with my Coastal Cabana, and I'm going to just turn this sideways. So I'm just kind of starting slightly off of that paper, and I'm really just rubbing it across. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to do make multiple cards of these, and they're never going to turn out exactly the same. You're going to make, whoops. There we go. That one I went by over a couple times because I wanted to cover it. That was Pool Party. This is Balmy Blue. Hold on here. And Night of Navy. It's going to be, here we go. There we go. And again, they're never going to show up. This one is much more solid than this one. It just is what it is, but I think it is super cool. Look at that. What a great way to custom make. You know, this would be great for a graduation card and do it in the school colors. Something like that. Perfect. Okay, so let's get going on. That's part of the technique there that I wanted to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and look, I also want to show you, these colors are going to change a little bit as they dry. This is going to get a little lighter, and so will that, I think. That one may or may not. I think that one's even going to get a little lighter as it dries. But you know what? I really, really don't care because I'm putting this very large front panel on my card. It will help kind of tone it down a little bit. Where's my bone folder? Here we go. This cardstock that I'm using for the base is Balmy Blue. Okay. And I am going to go ahead and put this on. Now I want to tell you something here while I'm thinking about it. On this one, you can see how I picked up extra ink on the edges of the card as I put the ink on the cardstock. If you really want to avoid that, what I would do is keep this piece of paper a little bit larger and then trim it down afterward. Now I didn't get too many of those lines. I did get it on this Night of Navy line, but this one I trimmed after I put the ink down, and I like the way that looks. So if that's important to you, then that's one way to avoid that. Whoops. So I don't know if you noticed what I did on these cards. I started out on the edge of the white, so I was already on it, so it didn't tend to pick up the extra on the edge. It really is all about technique. What you prefer, nothing's right, nothing's wrong. It is what it is. Okay, we are going to stamp. Now this is our basic white cardstock. I've already cut it out. Again, I used the Textured Notes dies. They're an online exclusive. I used this one, and I chose that one just because that's what fit the sentiment best. So there was no rhyme or reason there. And I'm stamping this one here in Balmy Blue. In the last couple years, am just really loving these large sentiments. They make putting a card together so simple. If you don't have this stamp set, you really need to get it. Here's my website. Please, if you need anything, let me know. So this is Balmy Blue. I'm inking this up. Put that on there. That looks nice. Looks really nice. Okay, now I just picked one of the colors out of my rainbow here to make a mat for my sentiment. So all I did was went a little larger. I measured the white and then went a little bit larger. So this one is, hold on, this mat is 2 3/8 by 3 7/8. So it's kind of a funny measurement. But again, measure this and increase it by maybe, let's see how much it's increased by. This is 2 1/4. So I only went 1/8 more than the size of my sentiment piece, okay? But you could go larger if you wanted. So there we go. I'm going to use my dimensionals on here. So anyway, Stampin' Spots are good. They're good for techniques. They're a good way to collect the Stampin' Up colors without as large of an investment. You do want to get the re-inkers though, because these will dry out a little quicker. But there are techniques where you can use just the re-inker. So it's not like you're not going to make use out of them, okay? So there's that. Now, for all of these cards that I've made, I used these embellishments. Let me show you here. I used, what are these called here? Charming Shimmer Faceted Dots. And I'll be honest, I didn't plan these colors around the dots in this pack. It just worked out. This has Night of Navy, which I used on this card. It has Berry Burst, which I used on this card, and Petal Pink, which I used on this card, which is the base color. So you know what? It just happened to work out. Well, I didn't use Berry Burst on this card. This Melon Mambo was pink enough that it blended in. So, where's my knife? Let's go ahead and do this. Let's get one of these here. Remember, embellishments are usually better in odd numbers, 3, 5, and so on and so forth. So, now, really the only real difference between these two cards is that on this one, I took a fine black pen and went around the letters to kind of highlight it a little bit. Which one do you like? Do you like it better with the black highlighting, or do you like it better without? Let me know. Okay, everybody, I really hope you liked these cards that I showed you tonight in this couple new techniques using the Stampin' Spots for your stripes and kind of highlighting on the edge of your sentiment. Let me know what you think and tell me which card you like the best. Okay, everybody, take care. I'll see you next Monday. Bye now.